morning, DPM Wong Kan Seng, Minister Shanmugam, ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to be here this morning for the 5th anniversary of our National Community Engagement Program Dialogue. We're having this session because every year, once a year, I get briefed by the security agencies on the security situation affecting Singapore. What's happening around us, what's happening in Singapore. And the most recent briefing was held late last year. After the briefing, I asked myself, compare with 5 years ago when we launched the CEP, compare with 10 years ago when 9/11 happened. Are we better off or are we not better off? Are we safer or not? And my conclusion was, we've been lucky, we haven't been hit. We've worked hard, and I think we've strengthened our cohesion and our security. But at the same time, if you look around us and if you scan the world and look at the region around us and the countries closest to us, I don't think you can say the situation has drastically improved. Yes, our resilience has strengthened. We've done a lot of work. We can take comfort in that. But we cannot relax our guard. 10 years after 9/11, the Middle East remains unsettled. The Middle East, the 9/11 bombers, the suicide attackers, came from Saudi Arabia, came from Yemen, came from Egypt. Today, Egypt has just had a change of government. Yemen is in a complete upheaval. Saudi Arabia is under pressure. Al-Qaeda itself, Osama bin Laden and his team, they have been disrupted because of the war in Pakistan, the war in Afghanistan. The Americans have struck them. Osama bin Laden is still hiding somewhere. But his ops chief, as the Americans tell you, whoever takes on that job, every 6 months you must find a new person because they will be hit, they'll be knocked out. And the organization has been, if not neutralized, substantially weakened. But the idea is still there. Al-Qaeda has franchises, and these franchises carry out deadly attacks in its name around the world. And including in Southeast Asia, where there are some groups which look to Al-Qaeda for ideological support. And they don't just attack. Now, the terrorists and the extremists spread their radical ideologies through the internet. In English, and if you go into cyberspace, you will find sermons by radical preachers speaking in English, connecting in the language and the thinking ways and the ideas which resonate with people who are much broader than the usual base in the Middle East. And they have preachers like Anwar al-Awlaki, an American who's now in Yemen. And so as a result, we are seeing people self-radicalize in several countries, including in Singapore. They are okay, something happens, they go onto the internet, they come across this material, and somehow they go wrong and get into trouble, and may do bad things. So governments have responded to this and have stepped up their anti-terrorism efforts. Some of the significant plots have been thwarted, quite a number of them. Some we've read about, quite a number more, done silently, but we should be grateful that they were stopped. But there were a few which slipped through also, which have taken quite a number of lives, fortunately not in Singapore. The terrorists are constantly changing their tactics. They find new ways of smuggling bombs, new attack operations. I just give you one example. 2 years ago, I think more than 2 years ago, there was an attack in Mumbai. You know all about it. A Singaporean was killed. So in 2009, we conducted an exercise on a Mumbai scenario called Exercise North Star 7. It was done in Sentosa, We used the hotels there. The terrorists came by boat. They came in. We tried to intercept them by boat. Some got through, got into the buildings, took people hostage. Then our counter-terrorism teams came by land, came by helicopter, repelled, mounted a very good major exercise to practice this scenario and to deal with the situation. And we invited grassroots leaders, and I went and watched the exercise with the grassroots leaders so that you understand what it's about. And I think some of you might have been there as well. After the exercise, I did a doorstop and met the press. The press asked me what I thought. I said, well, there's a good exercise. The security forces have trained well. They know what they are doing. But don't forget that the threat is always morphing. So I gave them a Chinese proverb, 道高一尺，魔高一丈. That means the priest is dealing with the devil, and the priest goes 1 foot higher, and the devil rises 10 feet up. And so you have to rise up and deal with the next problem. It's a warning that this is not the way it's going to happen the next time. That was on the 15th of July, 2009. On the 17th of July, 2009, 2 days later, 2 hotels in Jakarta got bombed. The Marriott and the Ritz-Carlton. Suicide bombings, but they didn't come by boat or by car the way we had practiced exercise North Star. The Jakarta hotels had this experience. They had raised their defenses. So the terrorists found a way to infiltrate inside the defenses. They booked a room. They used the room as their ops room. They brought the bomb in components which were not detected. They made the bomb inside the hotel. And one of the bombers was a flower seller in the hotel, working in the hotel. So you have one set of defenses. They came in a different way. And then the bomb didn't come in from outside. The bomb was carried downstairs into the coffee house and triggered. So, new threat. So we train against that threat. We prepare against that. And next time, it will be different again. It's an unending contest. So the nature of the problem has morphed. The terrorists are innovating, and we also have to upgrade.